today I want to talk about everyone's favorite housing statistic, which is home price. I wanted to go through this because I think it's fascinating as we look at Utah home values and what we've seen over the last 7 years. And I have some notes here to help me. Okay, so first I want to show you is median home price over the last 7 years, and it's gone up substantially. Now, median home price is the middle price. 7 years, we've had very consistent appreciation. We've gone up $128,000 in that time. Now, I want to show you another graph, which is also interesting, and it says something a little different. Now, if you take the most expensive and the least expensive house of all types, condos, everything, we're going to now average the price instead. Averaging is a little bit higher because on the median we saw that the max price was $300,000, but on average, as we see, the maximum price is now $357,000. Or really, I said maximum. I really meant average, because the average real estate, which includes townhomes, condos, and single-family residence, is $357,000 right now. And this includes the entire Wasatch Front MLS. So this is like Utah County, Salt Lake County, Davis County, Wasatch, Iron County. There's quite a few counties in there, but the majority of them are really in the Davis, Salt Lake, and Utah counties. I think that's where the majority of homes are. So what we see is that, again, when we look at average home prices, the average value, again, is saying a very similar number, and we are going up substantially. Now, I did some calculations on this, and so like when you look at 2008 to 2011 to 2012, we had an $11,000 increase that year. The next year we had an $18,000 increase, a $17,000 increase, a $15,000, a $19,000, and then in the last 2 years, a $21,000 increase and a $19,000 increase respectively, to bring us up to a total $149,000 total appreciation over 7 years. It's fantastic. And one of the stats that we've seen is that Utahns have more equity in the homes than ever in the history of home ownership, and it's because we've had such amazing home appreciation. So what that's broken down to is as I divided that total appreciation by the number of months, and it's $1,773 increase in home price per month on average over 7 years. So pretty phenomenal. And right now, again, the forecast is for us to go up another 6%. The interesting thing is they said we were going to go 5 to 6%. Last year we ended up much higher than that. The total average was 8.8% on average. Okay, so let me put more context into this. Let me show you another graph. And this graph that I'm showing you is the average home appreciation starting in the year 2000. So we have 18 years of home appreciation. Now, you could have bought a house here 18 years ago for $162,000. And at the peak of the previous housing market peak, we were $250,000 average price, and we thought that was really expensive. Everything dropped, and then we hit an average low of $208,000. Now, notice that drop in total was only about 25% on average from top to low. We know that there were definitely discounts, there were foreclosures out there, but on average, we only really lost about 25% total value. And since then, it took us 3 years to basically get back to the previous high. So we had a pretty prolonged low. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years before we got back up to where we were. But since then, it's been gangbusters, and we're making up for it. And so we've had huge growth since then, and it's really driven by all the jobs and opportunities people have, which are bringing people to the state of Utah. Okay, so we anticipate this to continue to grow because we still just can't build enough houses for the demand. So unless jobs change, like as a whole the economy slows down and we stop hiring, we would continue to anticipate this growth. Okay, so I want to give you more details and break it down so you really understand the housing market and how prices are vary from counties and also to property types. So what I've done here is, I'll have to look at my notes, is if you look again at the average real estate property in the Wasatch Front MLS, it is $357,000. But if we look just Salt Lake County, it's $366,000, and if we look at Utah County, it's $346,000. So real estate on average is cheaper in Utah County, and obviously if you go further south or if you go further east or west, those counties are cheaper. Now, if we look, let's break down Utah County. If we look at Utah County, I want to break down 3 property types. One is condos, townhomes, and houses. So let's start with condos. Condos in 2017 were $187,000 on average. At the end of 2018, they were $205,000. So we went up $18,000, or that's a 10.4% increase in price. If we look at townhomes, we started at the end of 2017 at $240,000 and went to $267,000. That's a $27,000 increase, or 11.25%. And lastly, single-family residences, homes, we started 2017 at $357,000. We went to $386,000. That is a $29,000 increase, but represents only 8.1%. I said only. Well, these are all huge numbers, but most people are trying to get townhomes, which has pushed that value more than condos, mainly because they have more square footage, but they're more convenient or cheaper than homes still. The average price, again, when you really look at homes, the average person is paying $386,000 for a house in Utah County. Now, these are pretty substantial numbers. So hopefully it's giving you a good idea of what real estate has done. Basically, over the last 7 years, we've seen so much. Everybody knows that, and that's why we have more equity now than we ever have in the history of home ownership in Utah. So that's all good news. It also buffers us from any bad economy, because if the economy does turn and we do lose value, we've gained so much over time that people can still sell their houses. They can still move real estate because they do have equity. So that's one of the security buffers that we have right now. No one's really, or not that many people are really cashing out, refinancing to decrease that equity. Most people, if they lose their equity, what they're doing is they're selling their house and they're taking that equity as down payments towards a new house. So a lot of great things are happening. Utah is a hot market. Hope this was helpful for you guys. And as always, like and subscribe below. Follow us, and if you have any real estate needs, please give us a call. We'd appreciate to hear from you. Thanks. Bye.